Another shutdown in tertiary education looms, university lecturers in a standoff with government. Growing an agricultural economy, that's the thrust of the Niger State government as it holds an investment forum. And various groups come together in support of the administration. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. I'm Cyril Stover in Abuja studio, and joining me from Lagos is Jennifer Igwe. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, Asuu, has declared a nationwide indefinite strike starting from Monday, the 14th of August. President of Asuu, Abiodun Ogunyemi, made the declaration in Abuja. Abdullahi Musa Suleja has details.
The federal government and Asuu in 2009 entered into agreement on a number of issues for the betterment of members in the university system, part of which is Earned Academic Allowances EAA. Asuu President Abiodun Ogunyemi said even though the EAA was partially implemented, other issues that include funding the revitalization of public universities, registration of a university's pension management company, and withdrawal of government from funding university primary schools are yet to be resolved.
For more than 1 year, lecturers in federal universities have been receiving fractions of their salaries. And sometimes these reduction in salary will be as high as 20, 30, 40%. Our colleagues in state universities have also been at the receiving end. In fact, many of the state governors have suddenly withdrawn their subventions such that many of the state universities, their salaries will either not come at all or they will come in bits and pieces. We have universities where for almost 1 year now, the lecturers there, they have not been on salary, have been receiving fractions of their salaries and academic allowances. In 2013, government released some 30 billion. Part of our agreement is that professors who have spent 20 years in universities should be allowed to go with their salaries. That has also not come. The fertilization fund, which was also part of our agreement, in 2013, government released 200 billion. Government is in arrears of 2014, 2015, 2016, and now 2017. So today, we declared an indefinite, total and comprehensive strike action.
The University Don emphasized that in 2013, a memorandum of understanding was also reached to further push for the implementation of the 2009 Pact. He said the union's endless waiting for the government necessitated its one-week warning strike on the 16th November 2016. Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
Well, joining me now is Dr. Wale Babalakin, a senior advocate of Nigeria. He's the chairman of the federal government Asuu renegotiation team on the 2009 agreement. Dr. Babalakin, thanks for joining us.
Good evening, Cyril.
Well, 2009 agreement, it would seem this is a sore thumb that just wouldn't go away. What is causing this at this point in time?
We're really taken aback by the strike action. As you're well aware, government set up a renegotiating committee to look at the 2009 agreement, to look at ways of funding university education, to look at ways of stabilizing the university calendar. This committee has started intensive negotiation with Asuu. We met less than 10 days ago. In view of the setup of this committee, it's totally out of place to now go on nationwide strike. I mean, I'm reluctant to say that this is bad faith. Secondly, most of the issues raised by Asuu are issues inherited by this government. And the government has steadfastly tried to implement a resolution. The Minister for Education, when inaugurating the committee, expressed very clearly that it was critical to resolve all these issues. And it must be on record that 2009 agreement, which was finalized in 2009, ought to have been renegotiated in 2012 and 2015. The first person to take a conscious action in renegotiating it is the current Minister of Education, who set up the committee.
Right, you've been involved in renegotiating the terms of that. At what point did the negotiations break down further?
We're totally unaware of any breakdown. And all the issues raised here are actually being addressed.
Yeah, for instance, they talk about not having been in arrears since 2014. You said you met 10 days ago.
Yes.
Was this raised?
We can take the issues one by one. The earned allowances. Government released 30 billion naira towards the earned allowances on the understanding that a proper forensic audit will take place and it will ascertain whether there are actually earned allowances in arrears or whether the claim is justified. I'm aware that the process for commencing the forensic audit has been completed and that the results should be out as soon as possible.
Did this feature in the discussions you had 10 days ago?
They were all aware of it. So that's why my opening statement is that we're taken aback. Secondly, on the issue of the outstanding payments, the needs assessment, government released 200 billion, and as I speak to you today, a substantial part of that money remains unaccessed. It has not been accessed by the various institutions.
Are you going to call for more discussions, sir, even as the union has decided to start a strike?
We have a meeting early next month. We have 3 days in the first 10 days of next month for further discussion.
Well, in view of the current situation, you're not thinking of bringing it forward?
We are very open. We can commence tomorrow. It's all up to Asuu. And I think that Asuu should have responded very positively to the role being played by this government in resolving these long-outstanding issues. They mentioned the issue of Nupenco. It's in our interest that Nupenco is licensed. Nupenco is a private company. Once it meets all the conditions of the Pension Commission, it will be licensed. So I'm surprised that this is coming to the table. On the issue of the state universities, yes, our law makes it a concurrent issue, which means that the federal government and the state government can make laws on it. But the NUC, which is the Nigerian University Commission, is putting together a template that will ensure that state universities comply very strictly with conditions for setting up universities.
Well,
and they're doing this along with the stakeholders.
Well, you say you're still open to discussions.
Very open.
Would you make a categorical statement and say, look, let's go back to the table and call on Asuu to come back to the table right now?
I make it very boldly that if Asuu wants to resume negotiation tomorrow morning, we will. And we're actually extending that offer to Asuu that in line with our very cordial way of negotiating, let us resume this negotiation and find an enduring solution to educational issues in Nigeria.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Baba.
I'm really grateful. Thank you for having me.
Right. In other news, the recent